Here I'm going to talk about these three functions, that is threshold lines and range limits, what they are and how you can use them. Manager can draw threshold lines on the graphs. These can be anything you like. You see, this graph has threshold lines to indicate a 10-year event and an annual event. To set the threshold lines, go to Edit, Thresholds to open the Thresholds editor. This is a little different to what you normally see in Hilltop in that the thresholds are defined for a site and measurement combination. This means you can have different thresholds for different measurements taken at a particular site. If your site and measurement combination isn't already in the combo box, click Add New and select your site and measurement from the tree control. Now, you can define thresholds for a measurement and have them apply to all sites, and you do this by checking the box. You can see the site name is greyed out now. Click OK to take us back to the threshold editor, and you can see this applies to any site with a flow measurement. You enter the limit, choose your colour you want the line to appear on the graph, and give it a label. The threshold must be enabled in order to see it on the graph. You can have up to 6 thresholds for each combination. Once you're done, click Save and Close. To see the threshold lines on the graph, click the toolbar button. This toggles it on and off. Get a graph, and here's our threshold line. If we go back to the graph we saw at the beginning, this is also a flow graph, but our threshold line doesn't appear here as there are threshold lines defined specifically for this site and measurement pair, and these override the site-wide line. If we have a look at these, you'll see there's 3 lines defined, but only 2 are enabled, which is why we only see 2 on the graph. Threshold lines are defined in Manager, but can be applied to time series graphs in Hydro too. When you ask for a time series graph in Hydro, click on the Graph tab and tick the box to show threshold lines. You can also set limits for the acceptable range for data collected for the site and measurement. These are also set in the Thresholds editor. You enter the lowest and highest value in your acceptable range. You can also enter a value for normal if you wish. To see the data limits, click the toolbar button and get your graph. These limits are used as the default limits when doing spike removal and data transform. Also, the normal value is used in the stage report that Hilltop Telemetry produces. The final setting in the threshold editor is the preset range for graphs. This limits the vertical axis of the graph. You enter a minimum and a maximum, save and close. Click the preset range button. These 3 toolbar buttons are also available on the View menu. Get your graph, and you can see our preset range here. The preset values are also available to the web graphing tools in GIFGen.